What's up, everybody? Subject content for today is navigation. What do y'all use? Paper maps? GPS units? Cell phones? iPads? That's my topic. What I've been experimenting with for navigation for the last year and a half or so. So, freaking getting attacked by my guard dogs. So let's stay tuned and I don't know, just see what I've been messing around with. Get him! Get him, Henry! So yeah, today's topic is navigation and what I've been experimenting with for the last, I don't know, year and a half or so, maybe a little bit longer. Um, yeah, that's today's topic. There's a lot of different methods of navigation out there. You still got a good old school paper map, which I still reference a lot, to be honest. You got cell phones. You've got so many applications that can be downloaded on a cell phone. I've seen people using iPads on their bikes. Other people are big GPS fans like myself. I'm a big, use a dedicated GPS for navigation. Other people are using CarPlay units like my CarPlay unit up here that I'm currently using. So yeah, there's a lot of different possibilities in what you could use for your motorcycle navigation and your ADV riding, or I mean, just anything, jeeping, overlanding, whatever, just a regular road trip. Um, but I've been using again a Car Pure Ride unit with offline maps uploaded into my cell phone for the last year and a half or so. Now, in the past, I have to admit, I've always been a die-hard, dedicated GPS fan. You use a GPS for your navigation, and your cell phone can be additional info, when needed, I guess you could say. So, what I used to use, I guess you could say, kind of before all the motorcycle dedicated GPS units, or I should say, before I wasn't cheap enough and I wanted to actually spend money on a real motorcycle unit. I always used just cheapo reman automotive GPS units, and I would just make it work on whatever street bike I had at the time. And of course, I'd use a good old fashioned paper map to go along with that. And man, I don't know how many times I'd be on the side of the road somewhere referencing a paper map and my automotive style, in quotes, whatever you want to call it, GPS unit. When I got in the rain, I just put a Ziploc bag and a rubber band over the damn thing. That's what I used for years. It worked. Um, then one day I decided to get into the adventure riding style of stuff. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoy that. It is my favorite method of riding. I'm going to get off topic. Stay on topic. That's what I'm trying to do here. Y'all know I'm bad about that. But I decided to get an actual motorcycle GPS unit. So I got one of, I forget the model number. It's the Garmin Zumo. I think it's the 396, whatever. I'd have to go back and look it up. Anyway, I bought one of those and I used it for years and it worked really good. I used it. I would use the application on my cell phone that went with it. It worked okay. I used it for years until it eventually started to give me issues. It had battery problems, it had software issues, or hardware issues, I guess I should say. I guess I just kind of wore it out in a sense. Um, and I was going to look at one of the newer GPS units when I actually bought this bike, my 800DE. I just didn't really want to drop a bunch of bills on a new Garmin XT unit. And I still see a lot of people on the forums and different online areas that would complain about using the XTs. Didn't really seem like it was all that much better than my old Zumo, which I also had some issues with. So decided, well, I'll use my cell phone. Excuse me, I'm still fighting a cold. I decided I'd try my cell phone for a while. It worked. Didn't really like the small screen. Didn't like having my cell phone on handlebars. I've also tried the cell phone on handlebars on previous motorcycles. I would have overheat issues when the sunshine would get on it on warmer days. The phone would just shut down, so then I'd lose all navigation. It's kind of hard to see. I didn't like it getting rained on, blah, blah, blah. So, again, goes back to when I bought this motorcycle. I researched a lot and I kind of settled on maybe I'll try this CarPlay setup and just kind of go from there. Again, a little bit not trustworthy because CarPlay is nothing but using your cell phone, at least from my experience anyway. And I didn't really like the idea of relying 100% on a cell phone. So it was kind of hard for me to, I guess you could say, just go for it and rely only on the phone for navigation. But I tried it. I ordered a car pure ride unit. This one is the W702 Pro. The unit itself has pretty much been flawless, with the exception of one software upgrade. But the unit itself has worked great. And it's basically still using only the cell phone for navigation because it's just mirroring what's on my cell phone. Now, what I don't do anymore is use the cell phone on the handlebars. So I've got quad lock mount up here, which I no longer use. Previous motorcycle and previous cell phone, I killed the cameras in my phone. Now, I wasn't using a quad lock. I was using a regular one of the X cradle mounts on the cell phone, and I'm sure just the bike vibration, and it was a much older phone, destroyed the camera. Then I switched to the quad lock, and I've actually only used the quad lock, I don't know, a handful of times because I've got the car pure ride unit. So, what I do now for cell phone safety, I guess you could say, I actually run a USB cable for charging, keep the battery up, through this area and into my tank bag. So my phone actually rides in the tank bag all the time or in my pocket on the motorcycle jacket. And then the car pure ride is my source of navigation. My app of choice for most of what I do, OnX Off Road. It works very well for my forestry service roads, cruising in the mountains, things like that. Now, where I used to not trust a cell phone was, well, what happens when I lose service? I can't navigate. Now, let me be clear on this because this is where somebody wanted to jump my ass one time online. It's not that the GPS part of the phone doesn't work. It's this: when I would pick up the phone and wanted to search a location because I didn't have offline maps downloaded into the maps, it didn't work well and I wasn't comfortable with it. Since then, I have downloaded offline maps for the areas I normally ride from OnX Off Road and from Google Maps. So I have two sets of offline maps for the areas that I ride in the cell phone. And then, of course, they just mirror over to the Car Pure Ride unit. That system has worked very well for me for approximately the last year and a half. Using the Car Pure Ride unit, it's easy to see. I can use, depending on what set of gloves I have on, I can use the screen to do whatever I want to do. I can still pick my cell phone up out of my tank bag, search stuff, whatever I want to do. It just works. Uh, that's what I've been doing for the last, like I said, year and a half. It's worked well. Haven't had any issues with the system. Now, I'm riding North Carolina mountains, Georgia, South Carolina, places like that. There's usually cell service in 95% of what I ride. And I'm not crossing a desert or riding the motorcycle across the North Pole where there's no service or people or anything. If I was riding true remote areas, I probably would not rely on this system. More than likely, I would go back to paper maps because they don't have batteries that go dead, and a dedicated GPS unit and my cell phone for additional information. And then I have actually three systems of navigation: a GPS unit that could fail, a cell phone that could fail, and a map that's really only going to fail if I lose it. But that's what I would do if I was riding really remote areas. Being that I don't ride truly remote areas, I decided I would give it a try using just the cell phone mirrored to a CarPlay ride unit, and just go with that. And so far, I've had no issues with it. And that's it. That's my navigational, I guess you could say, choice for now. It hasn't let me down. It's easy to use. I can sit on my couch at night on my iPad and pick destinations, build routes, transfer it to my OnX off-road app. Then it goes to the phone. Then it goes to the CarPlay ride unit. You know, and I'm good to go. I have to admit, it works. It's pretty easy. I'm still a GPS fan. But yeah, that's it for the day. That's what I use, what works. And what do you guys and gals use? Are y'all using GPS units? Are you using just cell phones? I've even seen some people having iPads on their damn motorcycle. I mean, I don't know if I really want to use an iPad up there, but I guess if it works. So yeah, what are you guys and gals using? Let me know. I'm eager to learn, and maybe somebody will give me a suggestion on a navigational piece of equipment that I might do some research on and just fall in love with. So yeah, that's it for today. Everybody be good. Stay tuned. Who knows what I'm doing next? All right, so yeah, topic for today is navigation. What I've been experimenting with for the last can't talk